my side on a Tuesday night for my live. So at least I know I'm the right way around now. I thought I had that sussed. Here's me following the instructions of how to do it. And it's the wrong way around yet again. Never mind, forget that. That's just a thing. So I'm going to start by saying to you that I may have to jump off this live really suddenly to answer the phone, because I've had to call 111 for my husband, and it's not coronavirus. It's something else, and it took me an hour to get through, and that was an hour ago, and they said they'd call back and they still haven't, and there's something quite seriously wrong. So if I need to jump, if the phone rings, I need to go. So I'm really sorry, because actually tonight's live I've got a lot planned for, and was going to be really, really good. Always good. Always good. Let me just get my positioning right now, because I hate it when that's at the wrong angle. That's better. That's better. So tonight, what I wanted to talk to you about was what would be prudent for you to be doing right now. Because obviously we're in a state of confusion. We all know what's going on. I'm not even going to say the word. I'm not saying the word. Okay? I've just refused to say it. We all know what's going on. We all know what we've got to do and what we shouldn't be doing. And let's just leave it at that. However, what I wanted to say was, at a time like this, it's really, really easy to fall into a state of confusion. A state where you just don't even know yourself, because you have lost all of your daily routines. Everything's gone out of the window. Things are not like they are normally. And actually, many people, and lots of people I've talked to, and I mean lots of people, lots of my clients, lots of people in general, just don't know what to do with themselves. They can't get their head around what's going on or what they could do. And this is such a great time of opportunity. I can't stress enough how much opportunity there is in times like this, historically. Right? If there's one thing history has shown us, it's that in times of adversity, there is a time of boom straight after. Because some of the best ideas, inventions, business opportunities present themselves where we're in a time of opportunity. So you can allow yourself to be taken along with the confusion that there is at the moment, or you can pull yourself in check and make the most of this situation. Because what you don't want to do is look back on 2020, which everybody will be doing with memes and funny comments in the next 12 months, and saying, I wish I'd done something better with that time. So, welcome to my page. I'm Mandy Nicholson, and I am a creative genius consultant, and I am an artist and an author, and I help innovative female entrepreneurs to launch or develop their successful creative business and make more money. I've made it my mission in life to work with women to help them to be all that they can be and step into their creative genius. That's what makes me function. But do you know what I did last week? I forgot that. In the confusion of what's happening at the moment, I actually got, I got hive mind syndrome, and I had a bit of a brainstorm with my tech manager today. I'll call him by his proper name, my digital artisan, Nathan. And we had a bit of a brainstorm today of what we're going to do in the next couple of weeks, a really strategic call. And we discussed words and brainstormed words about how people were feeling at the minute that we'd interacted with or spoken to online over the last couple of weeks. And we came up with uncertainty, fear, financial worry, vulnerability, and this hive mind syndrome. And hive mind syndrome is that people are doing what they wouldn't normally do. So for instance, I would normally get up at 6 a.m. every morning, walk the dog, listen to my audio book, which is a positive audio book, and then I'd do my gratitude and meditation, and then I'd come back and do my morning chores and be ready for work at 8 a.m. and really raring to go, feeling really positive. And I fell out of that habitual behaviour. I didn't even plan my diary last week, and that's unknown, really, That's unknown. And it's because we're sucked along. I was choosing to sit and get the updates on the news instead of doing what I normally do and what I always do. Now, I'm sure that I'm not the only person out there that has fallen into that behaviour, because it's really easy to fall into that behaviour when there's worry and fear. However, it's really, really important that we do what we normally do, but better, because at the end of this, people are going to need services. This is a fantastic opportunity for coaches, for online providers, for people that are thinking about launching their online businesses to be shoring up and getting ready for that. So I had a look back at some of the trainings I'd done in the last few months on a Tuesday night on here. And it was really, really funny because they were so aligned with my coach. So around about 6 to 8 weeks ago, I did a live about planning and productivity and how to use your diary and how I use my traffic light system. And I did a training on the routines and habits of successful people. And I did a training called Dr. Niche about how to identify your ideal client. And I did a how to talk about your marketing message, your business story, just recently, just a couple of weeks ago. And then I watched my coach's live last night, and she listed all those things almost in the same order. And I'm like, sometimes you're cosmically aligned with people. And that's what I want to talk to you about tonight. What are the things that you should be doing right now if you are in business, or if you are thinking about going into business? And you really should, if you have the inkling that you want to go into doing an online business, now is the time to start preparation work for that. Now is the time to seek the help for that. Now is the time to take action. Absolutely, now is the time to take action. So I'm going to remind you throughout this live as well that if the phone rings, I've got to go, because I have to be able to answer that call back from 111 for my husband. So, but in the meantime, I'm just going to keep talking and doing what I always do, because we work around these things all the time in this household. So this is not me being heartless. This is the day job. So one of the things I wanted to start with is I have revisited, and I'm going to ask you to do this and to think about this. This is really important. Last week, I didn't plan my diary. This week, I sat down first thing Monday morning and I spent 2 hours planning my diary in detail this week with a strategy attached to it that's linked to my short-term, medium-term and long-term goals of things that I can do for my business. I hadn't done that last week, so I've done it this week in some detail. And I'm back to traffic lights and I'm back to organisation. So one of the most important things that you can do at a time like this is really get your planning spot on. And I mean spot on. Look at every single thing that you need to do in a week. You may have the kids at home now. You may have changes to your environment, to how your behaviour is on a day-to-day basis, but that doesn't mean that you can't plan your workload in detail over the next few weeks and make the most of all of the time, particularly downtime. So this is one thing that successful people do. It's about saying, right, okay, I need to have a plan, and that plan needs to be written down, because the act of writing the plan down is a declaration to the universe and to yourself that that is exactly what you're going to do. And last week, I didn't function well without my plan. In fact, I was flailing. It was like a fish out of water, not really knowing what to do next, and that's not like me at all. So I'm holding my hand up to that, and I never do that. And yes, I've got a lot on my plate with a sick husband, but everybody's got a lot on the plate. Everybody's feeling this. I'm not alone in that. So if I can pull that in and rein that in with all that I've got going on in this household, then I'm sure that you can do exactly the same. So my number one tip for making a difference now and getting control of now is to plan. Go back to my training from a few weeks ago where I talked about planning and productivity and the use of diary and the use of traffic lights, and revisit it, because honestly, at this time, it's the number one thing that you should be doing. The number one thing. Why? Because, and I have written several posts today, I've scheduled the next 8 days social media posts to be giving you top tips on a daily basis of the sorts of things that you should be dressing now if you're in business. And actually recognizing opportunity is the first thing that everybody needs to be doing. There is opportunity in this situation. I don't mean opportunity to make lots of money off of people. I mean opportunity to step up and offer a service that's going to benefit others. So I'm a business coach and I work with creative women. There will be creative women out there right now who are wondering what they should be doing, what they can be doing, how they can rebuild their lives after this. And they need me more than ever. And their clients may need them more than ever because this time is difficult. So the second thing that I've reintroduced this week, and I said to you last week I was flying around like a fish out of water, not really knowing what to do with myself, was I have gone back to my very, very strict morning routine because it's the habits and routines of successful people that make them successful. So I'm back on my half-hour dog walk with my audiobook. I'm back on doing my 10 minutes of meditation and gratitude after the dog walk. My new exercise bike has just been delivered today, so I'll be going on that when I come back, and I'll be back on my very strict morning routine. And when I arrive in my office at 8 a.m. to start work, which is when I start work, my diary is full of the things that I want to achieve this week. I also know exactly what I want to achieve because I've had a strategy call with my digital artisan Nathan, and we've got a plan. We've got a plan of what we're going to offer that can help people now and also can help us as a business, because that's what needs to happen right now. The next thing, and this is one of the things that Michelle said last night, my coach, and that I'd already done a training on a few weeks ago, and I'm going to bring it back in now, is to review your ideal client. What's changed for your ideal client right now if you're in business? How are they different? How are they thinking? What's different for them? Because their life will have changed as much as your life. So how can you serve them better now in the situation that they are in? How can you be better for them with what you're offering right now to make their lives better now and when we come out of the other side of this? What is it that what's the problem that you solve for them? Again, go back to my training on niche, Dr. Niche, just a few weeks ago, where once you know what your niche is and you know who your ideal client is, you can serve them, but everything has changed in the last few weeks and will continue to do so for the next 4 months. So you need to be really, really hot with your planning. You really need to be creating new habits and new routines for this new situation that you are in that serve you in terms of getting you to work and getting you to think about what you've got to achieve at work. And then you've got to think about what's your ideal client doing now? How are they thinking now? What's changed for them right now? What's going on in their world? Who are they? And what's different? And then you've got to really, the next step for you is then having a look at your offer. And I've done all of these things in the last week. Have a look at what it is you're offering. Now, my signature program is what I offer to my ideal client, and I don't feel I need to change that because I feel my ideal client still needs me and still needs my signature program, because my signature program teaches her how to launch or develop her creative business both physically and online over a 12-month period. And many people may struggle at the moment, but may need that lifeline so that they know how to build a business after this is all passed. And isn't there a huge opportunity in online business after this period of time has passed? Because unfortunately for us as a society and for a world, really, for an earth, many bricks and mortar businesses are going to struggle to rebuild themselves. And that's unfair and it's not pleasant, but it's a fact of what's happening at the moment. So if we are ready to help people online, isn't that a good thing? I think it's a hugely positive thing, and I think it's an opportunity that we're not got to underestimate at this moment in time. Now, I'm just checking my watch because this phone call still hasn't come in. And as the phone isn't ringing, I have to say, guys, I am getting more angry at 111 because it's now an hour and a half since they hung up on me and said they'd call back and have a doctor phone for my husband, and that just isn't happening. So we've gone, you need to look at your planning and productivity. That's really important. Your daily routines and habits, so that you follow the routines and habits of a successful person. You need to have a look at how your ideal client is feeling and acting and behaving right now, and how she's thinking and what she needs, or how he's thinking or what he needs. And then, is your offer sufficient for what you've got at the moment? And finally, this is really funny, because it's not funny, it is funny. And this is so aligned with my coach, it's absolutely spookily untrue. Yesterday morning, before Michelle went live last night, I completely reviewed my marketing message and scheduled the next 2 weeks of Facebook posts really focused on what it is that's presenting itself as an opportunity for you and for everybody else right now in business. I'm a business coach. And I really felt that my posts needed to reflect something that was going to be able to add real value, to guide you over the coming weeks as to the things that you need to keep top of mind on a daily basis. Because it's really easy in times like this to let things slip, whatever they are. And I know exactly what I'm doing tomorrow. It's on my desk in finite detail. And it's really important that I don't get sucked back into this hive mind syndrome. And that meant tonight, I didn't watch the news. I've not watched the news today. Thank you. That's lovely. Thank you. Nice to see you. And it's nice to have people watching. Thank you very much, because I know there's so much going on at the minute. But honestly, don't watch the news. Watch me. Watch other people that are keeping forward moving and forward thinking. Because if you get sucked into the hive mind, and if you get sucked into needing to know how many people have died today and how many more cases there are in your country and how much worse it is than it was yesterday, that's like a collective thinking. I associate that with the Borg from Star Trek, the hive mind, the one mind of everybody's in panic mode. Those of us that are not, that have stepped out of that and said, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to prepare for what happens after. I'm going to prepare for those women I need to help. I'm going to prepare an offer that may help people right now. That's what I'm going to do. And that's what I want to bring to you guys on a daily basis, is just a daily reminder, because it's so important at the minute that you keep moving forward and that you keep this huge opportunity that's right in front of you at the top of your mind. Really is such a big opportunity. So if you're stuck in the house all day and you can't work, let me ask you now, what are you doing with that time? How are you filling that time right now? Are you filling it with really productive things? Because although you may be homeschooling your children right now, even teachers don't stand by them 24/7. They set them tasks, they set them away, and they check them. How are you using that time? Are you in confusion or are you in control? Have you got this collective hive mind syndrome going on? Or are you planning and organising, and are you setting new routines for success? Are you reviewing your ideal client? Are you reviewing your offer? And are you reviewing your marketing message? How are you communicating through social media with the people that are watching you? Because it's really important now that if you have an audience, that you are showing them a different way other than the hive mind mentality that's going on. Now, I'm not criticising anyone, because it happens. It's just human nature for us to behave in a certain way. And I know there's a scientific terminology for it. I just haven't looked it up today because I'm in creative mode. There's this almost Borg-like tendency that we all do exactly the same thing. And it's those of us that step out of it, and it's those of you that step out of it and do something different, that are going to be able to monopolise the opportunities that are presenting themselves right in front of you right now. Now, I haven't seen my friends and family. I have a sick husband at home that's got really severe symptoms today. I have no more or less problems than any one of you out there. But I'm sitting here tonight talking to you on the phone, waiting for 111 to phone me, trying to not get distracted and trying to help you to think about the opportunities. I just want you to think about the opportunities. And if you've even got an inkling of an idea, now is your time. Have you written a book? Have you got a thought in your mind that you would like to write a book? Have you done anything creative in the past? If ever there was a time to write a book, this is a time to write a book. You only need to do an hour a day. And believe me, when I started writing my book last year, the first weekend that I started it, I wrote 18,000 words in 2 days. So if you can do 1,000 words a day, an hour a day, you can pretty much have a book written by the time we come out of the other side of this. So if you've got an idea in your mind, why are you not doing it already? Get the book, get your book written, get your structure presented onto a piece of paper and start writing tomorrow, tonight. If you've got a business idea, sketch out your draft of it tonight. Think about who you need to help you, what help you need, what you already know, what are your skills. Do you know what happens to us, as well as this hive mind syndrome, is, and I've just had this conversation with my 20-year-old at tea time, because she said, I don't know what to do with myself, I'm confused. And I said, everybody's confused. It's normal behaviour for people to just feel at a loss and confused. But what happens is you're in fight or flight mode. You know there's danger out there. So your body has gone into fight or flight mode. Now you've got two ways that what we've done as a society over the last 30, 40, 50 years is we've almost trained fight or flight mode out of ourselves for where there is real opportunity. Because what your body wants to do right now is it wants to jump into action. And you've got to listen to that part of your body and your brain that wants to take you into action, because that part of fight or flight mode is a problem solving mode. And you will be better at solving problems now than you ever will be if you will give yourself the time to do it and allow your body and mind the time to actually deal with the problem that you think you've got. So the problem we've got is that there is a problem and we're trying to come up with a solution for it. So everybody's running around trying to come up with a vaccine. When in actual fact, the solution is simple: stay indoors, do what the government has told you, but use the time effectively. Problem solve in a different way. Take what you want out of life and turn it into something. Look for opportunities that are presenting themselves right in front of you on social media, on the internet, because that's your main source of communication. And look for that in the coming weeks, because it's going to be here. It's here right in front of you now, and it will be here right in front of you at different times over the coming weeks. I hope that makes sense to you tonight. It might be a bit garbled because I'm waiting. I've got the phone literally 6 inches in front of me there, waiting for the phone to ring from 111 so I can speak to a doctor about my husband. So he hasn't got the virus, definitely not got the virus, but there's something else going on. So I'm waiting, and that's a long wait when it's been a couple of hours since I made the first phone call. So those are my key observations at the moment. Adversity itself, and I've got a whole load of posts on adversity, and we're in adversity at the moment. One of the things adversity does is it rewards natural strengths. So the people that have got natural skills and strengths, you will see them rising on social media. You'll see more of them. Listen to them, because they've got a natural instinct that's going out to help other people. None of us are doing this just to make money. It's a natural instinct. We're going to use those skills in lots of different ways, and you've got them too. I'm telling you now, whoever you are and you're watching right now, you have got natural skills, and your ability to step into them is just the same as mine. Absolutely, 100% just the same as mine. And adversity gives you the edge there. It kickstarts you into using skills that you've forgotten about. And I think there's a story in there. I might have written this today, but I've certainly written it at some point over the last few days. I've written that much over the last few days. Do you ever know anybody who has lost a job? They've lost their job, and all of a sudden they come up with all these new ideas and new skills that they already had but hadn't been using because they'd got so accustomed to what they were doing and the behaviours that they'd acquired in the job that they were doing. They'd forgotten all these other skills that they had. And when they lose their job and then they go for another job, you see a complete change in that person, and potentially they reinvent themselves. This is your opportunity to do that. Reinvent yourself, because you can be anything you want at the end of this. You don't have to go back to what you were doing before. This is your reinvention opportunity. So in your reinvention opportunity, you've got to start with the basics. When I was a store manager and when I was a divisional executive, if we had a problem store, so a big problem, just like the problem we've got today, the very first thing I used to say to my team is, let's go back to basics. Let's do the ABCs of business and go back to basics. And that's what I'm saying to you today. Do the ABCs of business and go back to basics. Look at your planning and productivity. Look at your habits and routines. Are they the habits and routines of successful people? What is your ideal client doing? Go and check her out. Go and check him out. Go and check what they're doing right now. Look at your offer. Is it right? Look at your marketing message. Is it right? And look at your behaviour and how you're reacting to what's going on. And what do you need to change? Because the only person you can change is you. But you can be amazing in the next few months. So that's what I've got for tonight. Hopefully that's been of some use to you, as garbled as it may be. And still, let me just put a note on this. I phoned 111 at 5:30 this evening to tell them that there was a really serious problem with my husband, who's a